Hey, what's up guys? So in this video I'm going to show you everything that I know about text on a path feature inside Affinity Designer. Also along the way I will share with you some tips so that you can work on this feature more efficiently and save some time. Now guys, before I go into explaining this feature and this tool, we need to understand the difference between the path types or the vector shape types inside Affinity Designer. And it's not limited to Affinity Designer, it's just a general concept. So there are two type of paths or the shapes, whether you are working in Illustrator or inside Affinity Designer or any vector software. So this one, for example, this is the circle, that is a closed shape. This is a square, that is also closed shape, and this one is just a random shape. It does not have any specific name, I guess. So these three type of shapes are closed shapes because there is no starting and the end point of these lines, as you can already see here. By the way, these two first ones are actually the pre-made shapes that are here available inside Affinity Designer. The second type of shapes is the open shapes. As you can see here, this is just a simple single line or something like that, that has a long line, but you can see that it has a starting point and the end point. And if you select this one and use that node tool, you will see what is the starting point and what is the end point. This red one is the end point and the other side, this one is the starting point. Same is the case with this one. The red circle shows the end point and the other side is of course the starting point. So these two type of shapes are called the open shapes. Now the reason of showing you the difference between the two shapes is that because this feature or the Affinity text tool on a path works slightly different on these two type of shapes. Now that we have a clear concept of these two type of things, it's time to show you the text on a path tool. And let me hide these two shapes and work on this circle shape. So this is the circle shape, and if you want to type the text along this circle or any shape, any shape, it doesn't matter, you will select this artistic text tool. And by the way, if it is not there and there is this text frame tool, you will click on this small triangle here and it will show you the option of selecting this artistic text tool. So make sure that you select this tool, and then when you bring your cursor close to it, and before you bring the cursor close to it, you need to select that shape on which you want to apply the text. So we have this ellipse, and when I bring the cursor close to it, you can see that my cursor shape changes. So currently it has this target kind of symbol and then there is letter A, but if I bring it closer to A, it changes its shape. Target remains the same but the letter changes with a small curve shape underneath it. So which means that if I click here at this point, I will be able to type along this path. If I click anywhere else, it is in this form. It means that I'm not using the type on a path tool. So make sure that when you are want to type on a path, make sure that you click close to it like that. So when you click on this one, on this shape, it will turn it into a type on a path and you can simply type anything. Let me just type a simple word. So this is the simple text that I've typed, and let me just make it slightly bigger so that you can easily see. I think that would be fine. So this is the type on a path, and you can see that our circle shape, initial shape, has hidden, and now we have this thing. And you might have already guessed that we have clicked on this area, and that is why the starting point is at this location. And if you use that text tool again, artistic text tool, you will be able to change the position of your text along the way. And notice that we have two triangles, this green one and the red one. The green one means that it's the starting point and the red one means it is the end point. So we can shift the green one like that along the circle and position our text accordingly as we see fit. Currently you can see that I have this text left aligned at the top, align left, but if I make it center align, you can see that this thing also happens. So it totally depends upon you how you want to align your text, but for simplicity let's just keep it as left align. And now you can see that we can move it along as we see fit. Now if you do not know how to control this text, sometimes what happens is that moving this text along will just mess up the whole thing, and you'll be just scratching your head thinking what happened. So let me explain what happened. So as I've already mentioned, green is the starting point, red is the end point. So if I just move text here and look at closely, when this text touches that red area, it flips. So let me show you again. So if it touches that red triangle, it flips and goes inside our circle. So in this way, if we type on the outside and want to bring the text on the inside, we can bring this green circle close to it and make everything flip on the inside. And now we have four triangles, two green one and the two red one. By the way, this red one is slightly less saturated, or it's kind of like orangish, and the same way this green one is now less saturated. It's a kind of a lighter green area, something like that. And now if you move this green one, which you were previously moving, and as all of the text is inside, if you move this one, it does not have any effect. Now this green one, the new one that is on the inside, is becoming the starting point. And now if you move this one, you will be able to move your text as you can see here. But if you move and your text crosses that red area again, you will see this small eye shape appears, which means that there is something that is going to be hidden. And to be honest, I have completely not figured out what is the purpose of this eye, but just found out that if you click here, that crossing letter will just disappear. So maybe it will be helpful for you. And if you do not want it, you just need to make sure that move this red angle or red triangles on the other side like that, and you will be able to adjust it. So now you can see that we typed the text on the outside and then we flipped it on the inside, because if we want it to be on the downside, this is how we can move it on the downside. And this is the same thing concept whether you are working with circle, square, or any random shape like that. The same concept applies here. Now let me show you something else, and that is how you can type on a path on a circle shape or any closed shape, but not the outside, and start typing from the inside. So let me hide this one, and let me just make another circle here. So I want to type on the inside, not on the outside. Previously when I clicked on the line, I started typing on the outside, but I want to type on the inside. So again, I'll select this artistic text tool, and if I bring the cursor close to it, you can see that it changes the shape. And if my cursor is inside, it also changes the shape. So if you select, there's target area, look closely on the target area. So if you click on the outside of the circle and then start typing, you will see that we are typing on the outside like that. And this happens when you are selected on the outside. Let me show you again. Let me undo it a couple of times. So if my target area is on the outside, and if I click it and start typing, I'm typing on the outside. But if I want to type on the inside, what I would require is I need to bring that target cursor area on the inside like that. So now if I click here and start typing, I'm typing on the inside. So that's how you can control whether you want to type on the outside or in the inside. Okay, now that we are clear how to type on the outside and on the inside, now let me show you something else while still working on the closed shapes. So this one is something, we brought the text on the inside, and actually let's say we wanted to bring the text downward and starting from left to right like that. So initially the text was like that on the outside, but we brought it on the inside like that. So currently it is starting in this way, but if we move like that, and if we just bring this triangle on the other side, let's say just close to green one, and then move it like that, our text is just flipped upside down. We do not want it. So for that, we use this red triangle and then move this green one close to the red one, and then maybe adjusted this position and brought our text down like that. Now it is not upside down, it is in the perfect orientation like that. So but the problem here is that you can see the text is inside the shape. So if you want to bring your text on the outside, maybe you're working on a logo or something and you do not want to mess the shape or the circle size, you just want your text on the outside. So for that purpose, what you would do is that at the top this is this option called baseline. So you select that baseline option. Currently you can see that we have 0%, but if we increase it like that, you will see that our text is now going outside the circle, and now we can easily adjust it. But as you can see that it has caused more spacing between the letters, and that you can easily adjust by simply going into character panel and adjusting this option. Let me show you this one. So you can adjust this one and it will bring the letters closer. Let me just get back to the default setting. So this is how you can easily bring the text inside and outside like that. And let me just bring it back on the inside. So if you go into the negative number, so from 0 to negative, let's say, you will see that our these letters are quite close to each other, which we do not want. So we want to keep it at 0, and if we want it on the outside, we can increase it to whatever number we like. So that's how you can easily move the text from inside the shape to the outside the shape. Now let me show you how you can type on an open path. So for example, this simple line, this is an open path, and we can use the same artistic text tool, not the text frame tool. You will need to use the artistic text tool. And in the same way, when you bring your cursor close to the line like that, you will start typing it and type whatever you want like that. And let me just bring this size a little bit higher. So you can again use this green tool to adjust this position, and when it crosses, you can see that when the text crosses that red arrow, it flips, and then you will be able to move it on the other side like that. Let me just bring this one up again. So that's how you can easily type it on the outside. And if you want to type it on the outside, one thing you can do is just bring it closer to the red one, and now it flips, and then you can easily adjust the green area, actually green triangle. We select this one, zoom in a bit, so green one, and then you can type on the outside. But you can see that it is flipped now, it is not in the right direction. Let me undo it a couple of times to bring back to the initial setting. So this is what happens when you do it like that. So initially what we did is we had this this target area on the outside, and we started typing on the outside. And if we have this target area on the downside like that, you will again see that we are typing on the outside, we are not typing on the other side, but the target area is down, but still we are typing on the outside. And that is because it works slightly different on these open shapes. So currently you can see that we have this line selected, but we have this bounding box around it, which is, you can see that it's divided into 4 portions. This one, this top left, top right, bottom left, and bottom right. So sometimes it happens is that when you bring your cursor close to this first initial, this box, actually this half of this thing, this or bounding box, whether you click anywhere, down or upward, it does not matter. So if I click down, I'm still typing on the outside. And if we do not want it, what I would require is to bring this cursor close to the other half of this one. So currently this half is on the left and this half is on the right. So if I click here on this area and bring my cursor down below it, when I type it, I'm typing on the downside like that. If I bring my cursor on the upside and start typing, I'm still typing on the downside because I'm on this half of this open shape like that. So even if I type here, let's say on this location, I'm still typing on the downside. And when I move this cursor across that half area, you can see that this half area, and move on to this location, even I am on the downside, I'm typing on the upside. So when working on open paths, this is something that you need to keep in mind. Let me show you again this one on another type of open shape like this one. So this is a long path. And again we have halves, this half side and this half side. But also you need to remember it's not only the vertical half, you will need to keep in mind this horizontal half as well, like that. So if I select this type tool and let's say type on the underside, and it starts the text on the upside, like that. But if I'm crossing this half area, let's say this half area, and if I start typing here on the underside, like that, click here, I'm still typing on the outside. And that is because I'm horizontally in this upper area, you can see, like that. But if I bring my cursor on the downside, on this one lower half portion, and if I'm typing, let's say I'm clicking here on the downside, now I'm typing on the inside of that shape. So if I click in on the inside, I'm typing on the inside. That is because now Affinity is considering this lower portion to be different and the upper portion to be different. So if I cross this area, this half area on the upper side, click here, it start typing on the outside. If I even click on the inside area, but I'm on this upper area, it still starts typing on the outside. Let me show you again. So now I move the cursor on the downside, on this down half area, bottom one, and if I click on the outside of the line, I'm typing on the inside area. If I click on the inside of the line, I'm typing on the inside area. So that is something that you need to keep in mind when you are working on open paths. And by the way guys, if you have started typing on the outside, let's say I want to type the word here. So I have selected this text and I put it on the outside area and I can move it. But if what happens if you want it to be on the downside but still in the same direction, you will do the same thing. Choose this baseline option and move it on the other side of the line. It totally depends upon you what kind of design you are working with. So that baseline trick also works on the open paths as well. So guys, hopefully it is now clear how you can efficiently use this type tool. Let me show you a tip here towards the end of the video, and that's very important when working on the text on a path. So for example, this is the initial one. We still we typed on a circular path, maybe working on a t-shirt design or a logo, whatever. And if we just we typed it and then we we saw that our design is too small, we need to adjust its size. So if we start increasing the size of this circle, you can see that our text remains the same, and it just messes the whole thing. Even if we start on the other side, even if we just start on the anywhere, our text remains the same. This is the problem that can occur when you are working on the design and later on decide to resize your design or maybe decrease the size or whatever. So if you do not want it to happen, if you do not want it to behave like that, the proper way to resize this thing will be to use this lower circle. So you can see that on this bounding box we have these blue dots, but there is one blue dot that is on the outside of this bounding box. So if you select this blue dot without pressing any kind of key, just using this mouse cursor, click on it and start scaling up, like that. And now the text will scale along with the shape. So if you want it to scale from the center, just press the control key and it will scale on the center along with the text itself. So if you are just scaling it without using that lower blue dot, what will happen is that your text will remain the same and it will mess up your whole design. So if you want your text to resize accordingly, just use this lower separate blue dot and scale it, and it will scale perfectly, like that. And by the way, if you are using these open curve shapes, so let me just again type quickly here. So you can see that I have just typed here, and on the open paths this lower blue dot also appears. So if I select this one, I can resize it and my text resizes along with it. If I do not select this lower blue dot and start scaling from there, my text curve and the whole thing just messes up when I scale down or scale up, like that. So make sure that when you are scaling your text and you want your text to be scaled along with it, you are using that lower blue dot. So guys, that's all for now, and hopefully you have found this video to be useful. If so, make sure that you like the video and let me know in the comments below, because that will help me with the YouTube algorithm to reach more viewers who are interested in the same content. And as you already know, this channel is not monetized, and if you want to support this channel, this effort, you can subscribe to this channel. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video, and thank you for watching.